Welcome back. If you are here, you already know that Skyrim holds secrets darker than dragons and civil war. Today, we are exploring one of the most horrifying fates in all of Tamriel. The truth about what happens to souls trapped in black soul gems and sent to the Soul Cairn. Every enchanted sword you carry, every glowing piece of armor you wear, every soul gem you fill without thinking has a cost. A permanent, eternal cost paid by someone who can never escape, never die, and never find peace. This is not a tale about heroic adventures or legendary artifacts. This is about the nightmare that exists beyond death for those unlucky enough to have their souls ripped away and discarded into the void. You have used soul gems before. You probably never thought about where those souls actually go. You should have. And if you genuinely enjoy this kind of dark storytelling, consider subscribing and liking the channel, but only if it truly resonates with you. I need you to understand something before we go any further. What I'm about to tell you is not a story. This is not folklore or legend passed down through tavern whispers. This is testimony. This is what happens when you die with your soul already stolen. My name does not matter anymore. Where I came from, who I loved, what I believed in, all of that dissolved the moment the spell hit me. Soul trap. Two words that sound so simple, so clean, like a hunter's snare or a mage's clever trick. But there is nothing clean about what it does. Nothing simple about the moment your essence gets ripped from your flesh and stuffed into a crystal prison. I was a mercenary, not a good person, not by any measure, but I was alive. I could feel the wind, I could taste mead, I could feel pain, and that pain meant I was real. Then I took a contract in a ruin near Morthal. The pay was good. The client was a mage who needed protection while he searched for some Dwemer artifact. I should have known better. Mages always have their own plans. We were 3 days into the expedition when he turned on us. My partner went down first. I heard her scream, but it was not a scream of pain. It was a scream of something far worse, realization. The mage had a black soul gem in his hand, and he was chanting. I tried to run. I made it maybe 10 steps before I felt the spell latch onto me. It felt like hooks, invisible hooks that sank into every part of me at once. Not my body, my soul. I could feel them pulling, trying to tear me loose from my own flesh. I fought it. I clawed at the air, at my chest, at anything, trying to hold myself together. But you cannot fight magic like that with your hands. You cannot scream it away. All you can do is feel yourself being dragged out of your own skin. Then he killed me. A simple ice spike to the chest. I felt my heart stop. I felt my lungs freeze. But I did not die. Not the way death is supposed to work. Instead, I felt myself being pulled upward, yanked out of my body like a fishhook ripping through water. My corpse collapsed below me and I was still conscious, still aware, still screaming. The world collapsed into purple light. Everything I knew, everything I had ever seen, folded into a blinding, suffocating radiance. I could not breathe. I could not blink. I could not do anything except exist inside that light as it compressed me, crushed me, forced me into a space far too small for a human soul. That was the black soul gem. That was my prison. Time stopped meaning anything. I do not know if I was in that gem for seconds or centuries. There was no up or down, no sound, just the crushing awareness that I was trapped, that I would never escape, that this was forever. I tried to scream, but I had no mouth. I tried to move, but I had no body. I was nothing but thought and terror, packed into a shard of crystal. And then the gem was used. I felt it happen. The mage took my prison and used it to enchant a sword. I felt the power drain out of me. Felt myself being consumed to fuel someone else's weapon. But I did not disappear. I wish I had. Instead, when the enchantment was complete, what remained of me was cast out. I woke up in the Soul Cairn. That is what this place is called, though no name could ever capture what it truly is. Imagine waking up in a nightmare that never ends. Imagine opening your eyes to a sky that has no sun, just an endless void where a black circle hangs like a wound in reality. Imagine standing on ground that feels solid but wrong, surrounded by dead trees and glowing fissures that pulse with stolen energy. The air here is not air. It is thick. It tastes like ash and despair. Every breath, if you can even call it breathing, fills you with the knowledge that you are not supposed to be breathing at all. You are dead. You are a soul. And this is where souls go when they are used up and discarded. I tried to move. I looked down at my hands and saw them, pale and translucent, like smoke given shape. I touched my face and felt nothing. No warmth, no sensation, just the vague awareness of a form that used to be mine. I was a husk, a hollow echo of what I once was, and I was not alone. There were others, dozens of them, hundreds, maybe thousands, souls wandering aimlessly through the purple mist, their faces slack and empty. Some of them muttered to themselves. Some of them stared at nothing. A few looked at me with eyes that held no recognition, no hope, just the blank acceptance of eternity. One of them approached me, an old man, or at least the ghost of one. He looked at me with something that might have been pity, though it was hard to tell. His voice was thin, like wind through a crack in stone. He told me where I was. He told me what had happened. And then he told me the worst part. There is no escape, no death, no end. The Soul Cairn is forever. The ideal masters, the things that rule this place, they feed on us. They drain what little remains of our essence, siphoning it away bit by bit, until we are nothing but empty shells drifting through the mist. And even then, we do not disappear. We just continue, hollow, aware, trapped. I asked him how long he had been here. He looked at me with eyes that had forgotten how to cry and said he did not remember. Time does not work here. There are no days, no nights, just the endless grey twilight and the constant flicker of lightning splitting the sky. You cannot sleep. You cannot rest. You can only wander and wait and slowly lose every memory that made you human. I tried to run. I do not know where I thought I would go, but I ran anyway. I stumbled through the wasteland, past crumbling ruins that looked like Skyrim, but were not Skyrim, past crystalline structures that pulsed with sickly light. And then I felt it, one of those crystals. I got too close and it started draining me. Not my body, my soul. I could feel it pulling at what little I had left, sucking me dry like a leech on a corpse. I staggered away, weaker than before, and I understood. This is what the ideal masters do. They are not gods. They are not even demons. They are something worse. They are hunger, endless, insatiable hunger for souls. And we are their food. I have been here long enough now to see new souls arrive. They stumble in, confused and terrified, just like I was. They ask questions. They beg for answers. And I tell them the truth, the same truth that old man told me. This is forever. There is no hope. There is only the Soul Cairn. You learn things here that the living could never understand. You learn that consciousness without purpose is torture. You learn that eternity is not a blessing. And you learn that the ideal masters are far worse than any Daedric prince you ever heard about in those temple sermons. They do not speak to us often. Most of the time, they simply exist, looming over this realm like silent judges. But I have seen them, or at least, I have seen what passes for them in this place. They appear as massive crystalline structures, floating above the wasteland like purple soul gems the size of buildings. When you get near them, you can feel their presence pressing down on you, suffocating and cold. Some of the souls here claim the crystals are not the ideal masters themselves, just conduits. They say the real masters exist somewhere beyond physical form, that they transcended their bodies long ago to become something else, something that feeds on consciousness itself. I do not know if that is true. What I do know is that when those crystals focus on you, when they turn their attention toward your fading essence, you feel it. You feel yourself being consumed. I watched it happen to another soul once, a woman who had been here longer than most. She wandered too close to one of the larger crystals, and it lit up with that sickly purple glow. She started screaming. Not in pain exactly, because we cannot feel pain here the way the living do, but in awareness. The crystal was draining her, pulling her apart piece by piece, and she was conscious for every moment of it. When it finally released her, she was barely there anymore. Just a wisp, a fragment, but still aware, still trapped. That is the cruelty of this place. We do not get the mercy of oblivion. We fade, but we never disappear completely. We become less and less until we are nothing but whispers of thought drifting through the mist, and even then, we remain. The ideal masters do not let us go. They hoard us, use us, keep us like currency in some cosmic vault. I have tried to piece together what they want, why they do this. Some of the older souls say the masters were once mortals themselves, necromancers who grew so powerful they shed their flesh and became beings of pure soul energy. They built this realm as a feeding ground, a place to collect and devour the essence of others so they could sustain their unnatural existence. Others claim the masters serve something even greater, that souls are currency they pay to some unknowable power beyond even this nightmare. I do not care which version is true. All I know is that we are livestock to them, cattle, resources to be harvested and consumed at their leisure. Time still does not work here. I have tried to count the lightning strikes to measure days, but they come at random intervals. sometimes minutes apart, sometimes hours, or what feels like hours. I cannot be certain anymore. My memories of the living world are fading. I can still remember being killed, being trapped, arriving here. But the details before that are becoming fuzzy. My partner's name, the color of the sky in Skyrim, the taste of bread, all of it slipping away like water through my fingers. Other souls have it worse. I met one who could not remember his own name. He knew he had been someone once, knew he had lived and loved and died, but the specifics were gone. He spent his time wandering the same path over and over, muttering fragments of sentences that no longer made sense. When I asked him how long he had been here, he just stared at me with empty eyes and walked away. Some souls have gone mad, completely, utterly mad. They laugh at nothing. They rage at shadows. They build little cairns out of bone fragments and dead wood, stacking them into meaningless patterns and then knocking them down again. One soul sits by a dried fountain and has conversations with people who are not there, answering questions that were never asked. The worst part is knowing that I will become like them eventually. We all will. Sanity requires change, requires progression, and there is no progression here. Just endless repetition until your mind breaks under the weight of forever. I have seen the living come here. Not often, but it happens. Necromancers seeking power, vampires hiding from enemies, fools who thought they could bargain with the ideal masters and win. They walk through our realm like tourists in a graveyard, their bodies still solid and real, while we drift past them like smoke. I have tried to warn them. We all have, but they cannot hear us unless we are very close, and most of them do not want to listen anyway. I watched a necromancer make a deal with the masters once. He wanted an army of undead, wanted the power to raise legions from the grave. The masters agreed. They gave him access to this place, let him summon bonemen and wrathmen and mistmen to serve his will. In exchange, he promised them souls, fresh souls, black souls, trapped and ready for consumption. He thought he was clever, thought he had gotten a good bargain. Then the masters changed the terms. They always change the terms. When he tried to leave, they kept him. His soul joined ours, and his screams echoed through the Soul Cairn for what felt like weeks, before he finally went silent and hollow like the rest of us. That is what the ideal masters do. They trick, they deceive, they offer power, and then spring the trap once it is too late to escape. Even Durnavir, the undead dragon who circles the skies above us, fell victim to their games. He sought power through necromancy, and the masters granted it, but only if he would guard a prisoner here in the Soul Cairn. He agreed. What he did not know was that the prisoner was a vampire, immortal, eternal. So now Durnavir is bound here forever, his body so saturated with the essence of this realm that he can never leave. He is powerful, yes, but he is just as trapped as we are. I have stood beneath his shadow as he flew overhead, and I swear I could see the despair in his eyes. Even dragons can know true hopelessness. What do you think really happened to the souls you trapped in your adventures? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I would like to know if I am the only one who feels this weight. The living use soul gems without thought. They trap a bandit to enchant a sword. They capture a traveler to recharge a staff. They see it as a tool, a convenience, a simple spell with no consequences. But every single one of those gems sends a soul here. Every enchantment costs someone their eternity, and we feel it. We feel the moment our essence is drained away to power some adventurer's equipment. We feel ourselves being used, consumed, discarded, and there is nothing we can do except scream silently into the void. I have watched souls arrive, still wearing the confusion of their final moments. A merchant who was ambushed on the road, a guard who trusted the wrong mage, a woman who was simply in the wrong place when a necromancer needed to fill a gem. They stumble into this purple wasteland with questions on their lips, and I have to watch the hope drain from their eyes as they realize where they are and what has happened to them. If this story has kept you listening this far, and you want more of these dark confessions from Skyrim, hit that subscribe button. It tells me someone out there is still paying attention to warnings like these. Some souls still try to escape. They search the boundaries of this realm, looking for cracks, for portals, for any way out. There are none. The Soul Cairn is a closed system, a perfect prison designed by beings who understand entrapment better than anyone. I spent what felt like months exploring every corner of this wasteland, mapping the ruins and the walls, and the strange altars that dot the landscape. All I found were more souls and more proof that we are truly abandoned here. There is a moment that comes to every soul here, a moment when the last thread of hope finally snaps. For some it happens quickly, for others it takes what feels like lifetimes, but it always comes, the moment when you truly accept that this is forever. Mine came when I stopped being able to remember what warmth felt like. I could remember the concept of it. I could remember sitting by a fire, holding a cup of something hot. But the sensation itself, the actual feeling of heat against skin, was gone, erased. And I realized that every day, every moment I spend here, I lose a little more of what made me human. Eventually, there will be nothing left but the awareness that I once was something more. That is the true horror of the Soul Cairn. Not the bleakness, or the masters, or even the eternity. It is the slow dissolution of self, the gradual erasure of everything you were until only the capacity to suffer remains. I have met souls here who have been trapped so long they have forgotten what it means to be alive. They do not remember breathing or eating or sleeping. They do not remember love or anger or fear. They are just consciousness, stripped down to its most basic function. Awareness without context, existence without meaning, and they will remain that way forever, because the ideal masters will never let them go. We are too valuable, too useful. Our suffering sustains this entire realm. The structures here are built from our despair. The lightning that splits the sky is powered by our fading memories. The very ground beneath our translucent feet is compressed anguish given form. We are not prisoners in the Soul Cairn. We are the Soul Cairn. We are its foundation, its fuel, its reason for existing. The ideal masters have turned suffering into architecture. I have spoken to souls from eras I did not even know existed. There is a Dunmer here who claims he died during the Oblivion Crisis, another who says he was trapped during the wars of the Second Era. They all tell the same story: capture, imprisonment, arrival, and then the slow, endless grind of eternity. Some of them can barely speak anymore. Their voices are just whispers, fragments of language that no longer connect to meaning. But they are still here, still aware, still trapped. There was one soul who tried to explain what the ideal masters really are. He had been a scholar in life, a researcher who studied Oblivion and its inhabitants. He told me that the masters are not Daedra, not in the traditional sense. They are something else entirely. Beings who transcended mortality through necromancy, who transformed themselves into pure consciousness, and then built this realm as their feeding ground. They see themselves as saviors, he said. They believe they have freed us from the suffering of mortal life and granted us eternal peace. The delusion would be laughable if it were not so obscene. Peace. They call this peace, this endless grey wasteland where souls wander in confusion and despair. This prison where consciousness never ends and meaning never begins. This is their gift to us. Eternal life stripped of everything that makes life worth living. I have tried to hold on to anger. Anger at the mage who trapped me. Anger at the system that makes soul gems legal and accessible. Anger at the ideal masters for creating this nightmare. But anger requires energy. And energy fades here just like everything else. Now all I have is a dull, persistent awareness of wrongness. The knowledge that this should not be, that no being deserves this fate, combined with the certainty that it will never change. If you have ever wondered what choice you would make in a situation like this, tell me in the comments. I will be reading them. Do you know what the worst part is? The living can see us. When they come here, when necromancers and vampires and adventurers stumble through that portal from Castle Volkihar, they can see us wandering. They can even speak to us if they get close enough. And some of them do. Some of them stop and ask questions. They want to know how we got here, what it is like, if there is any way to help. And we tell them the truth. We beg them to stop using soul gems. We plead with them to spread the word, to make people understand the cost of their enchantments, and then they leave. They return to Skyrim with their Elder Scrolls or their necromantic powers or whatever they came here to find, and nothing changes. The soul gems keep getting filled. The enchantments keep being made. More souls keep arriving. Our warnings mean nothing because convenience will always outweigh morality for the living. I watched a soul arrive yesterday, or what felt like yesterday. Time is meaningless, but I mark the new arrivals as a way to measure existence. She was young, barely 20 by the look of her translucent form. A student at the College of Winterhold, caught in a soul trap during a training accident. She did not even do anything wrong. She was just practicing magic with a partner who lost control of a spell. Now she is here. Forever. Her entire future, all her dreams and possibilities, compressed into a crystal, and then discarded into this void. She cried when I told her there was no escape, not with tears, because we cannot produce tears here, but with a shaking despair that I recognized because I had done the same thing when I first arrived. She asked me how long she would be here. I told her the truth. Forever. She asked if it would get easier. I lied and said yes, but we both knew the truth. It never gets easier. It just becomes normal. And normal is somehow worse than agony. The ideal masters do not care about her youth or her innocence, or the injustice of her fate. They do not differentiate between bandits and scholars, between murderers and accident victims. We are all the same to them, fuel, nothing more. Our stories do not matter. Our suffering does not register. We exist to be consumed, and when we are finally drained to nothing, we will still remain, because oblivion would be mercy, and the masters do not grant mercy. There are moments when I stand at the edge of the Soul Cairn, looking out at the purple mist and the jagged horizon, and I try to imagine what lies beyond. More realms of oblivion? The void itself? Something worse than this? I will never know because I will never leave. None of us will. We are permanent fixtures of this realm now, as much a part of it as the dead trees and the soul fissures and the bones that litter the ground. I have accepted my fate. That is what you do here eventually. You stop fighting, you stop hoping, you simply exist and try not to think about the eternity stretching ahead. Some souls say that acceptance brings peace. It does not. It just brings numbness. And numbness is not peace. It is just another form of death, except you are still aware enough to know you are dead. The living will continue to use soul gems. The mages will continue to seek power from the ideal masters. The necromancers will continue their trade in stolen essence. And we will continue to suffer in silence, our warnings unheeded, our existence forgotten by everyone except the beings who feed on us. This is my confession. This is my warning. When you trap a soul in a black gem and use it to enchant your sword, remember that soul does not disappear. It comes here. It joins us in this eternal wasteland where hope is a memory and suffering is the only constant. Remember that every convenience you enjoy through enchantment costs someone there forever. I do not expect this to change anything. The living never listen, but at least now you cannot say you did not know. At least now you understand the true cost of those glowing weapons and shimmering armor pieces. Someone paid for that power, someone like me, and they are still paying right now in a purple wasteland where time does not exist and death would be a blessing. My name does not matter. I am just another soul in the Soul Cairn, one of thousands, one of millions perhaps, a voice in the void that no one will remember. But I was alive once. I had dreams once. I mattered once. And now I am nothing but awareness trapped in a nightmare that never ends. That is what happens when you die with your soul already stolen. That is the fate that awaits in the Soul Cairn. Remember it the next time you reach for a soul gem. Remember us. Remember that we are still here, still suffering, still screaming into the silence. And know that if you are not careful, if you cross the wrong mage or stumble into the wrong spell, you might join us. Forever is a very long time to regret a single moment.